Hello, everybody. Welcome to Economics Monday on the IBMTV network. We'd like to thank our viewers from around the world who are tuning in from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and I'm going to bring in our guest. First of all, hailing from the Raleigh-Durham area, the president of the IBMTV network, Pod TV. Let's bring in, she's also the chair of the Strategic Advisory Council for North Carolina State University. Let's bring in Kim Calhoun. Kim, welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Okay, we're going to have some exciting topics to discuss. Now we're going to reach on the other side of the pond. This gentleman is the head of the Swiss Impact Investment Association in Switzerland, and Zug, Switzerland, which I probably pronounced incorrectly. Let's bring in the Honorable Ben Banerjee. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And now our last person actually hails from India, but he has his video off right now, and I don't know why. As soon as he comes back on, we're going to bring in Anjit Bhattacharya. I can't pronounce his name, but he's actually the Ben, you could probably pronounce his name better than I could, but he's actually the head of the World Leaders Forum out of New Delhi, I believe. Let's bring in Anjit and see if he can come in. Arjit. Okay, Ben, you see his last name. You could probably pronounce it better than I can.
It is Bhattacharya.
Bhattacharya.
Yeah, Bhattacharya.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad somebody can pronounce it. I'm too much of an American. I can't. I look at these names. I can barely pronounce my own name. But I don't pronounce any other names. So anyway, so the topic today is actually part of what we did in LinkedIn. We posted on this, and here's the question, because David Walker writes a book, America 2040 Still a Superpower, and part of his book is that. The real question is America going to be, the United States of America, going to be the world's leading economy in the year 2040? And by the way, I did get this posted on LinkedIn, and they haven't taken it down. The reason I said so, everybody who saw our show last night, I posted a question about Kyle Rittenhouse, which you may not have heard about in Switzerland. I don't know.
Should he have?
Oh, you have? Okay. Well, anyway. Okay, here's a true story. Ben actually posted it on LinkedIn. Should he be allowed to walk? Yes or no? After 55,000 people viewed it in 4 hours, and I had 1,975 votes, and I'll tell you what the voter result was in a minute. LinkedIn took me down. They said it violated community standards. Okay, I'm not kidding, and I'm going like, wow, I didn't know that they could do. I've never been taken down by LinkedIn, so I felt honored and appalled at the same time. I was honored because I've been taken down by Facebook. I've been taken down by YouTube. Every time I go to a social media network, maybe we press the limits because we ask questions and you get taken off. So I finally got taken off. So anyway, we posed this question also. Oh, there's Arjit. Hey, Arjit, Ben can actually pronounce. Hey, how are you doing? What city in India are you calling out of? Talking from?
Sorry?
What city are you in? City?
Oh yeah, I'm in Calcutta at the moment. I just returned back.
Okay, right. That's
in India.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not new to the network, but you may be new to our new distribution partners, because we distribute through LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Reddit that I know of. That I can't remember all of them. And so, could you just tell our viewership a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you do, because you're relatively new on Economics Monday. Most people know all of our people. So you get to talk. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Arjit.
Sure. Happy to see you, Ben, once again. Well, regarding my background, I'm an entrepreneur who started his life at the age of 17 back in 1998. I started India's proper game development studio, probably one of the first in the country. And the specialty is to convert any real actor and actress. We hire them to become our superhero characters in our games, and then we create amazing game title out of it. We became eventually a white label partner to many MNCs across the world, including Silicon Valley, including Asian counterparts like in South Korea, in Taiwan, in US, in Australia, so many other countries. And since for the last 12 years. I'm an active angel investor, invested in quite a number of companies, and very recently started our own accelerator, which is called Co-Innovate Ventures. I forgot to mention my first company's name. That's called Virtual Infocom. So we started the Co-Innovate Ventures around a couple of months back with the intention to get lot many startups and help them out. And we floated our own angel network. Within the network, we have quite a bit number of angels who are actually very passionately investing into such startups into our cohorts. I'm founder to World Leader Summit, which is one of the finest summit that started in pandemic last year in 2020, and Ben was one of our speaker. He's an amazing guy with a couple of other more speakers, and the intention was to create a network of networks of great people to come together, handshake with each other, and then grow more. So whoever is active in the network, we actually created so many different activities. Co-Innovate Ventures is one of the example. In Co-Innovate Ventures, we already invested in 5 different companies altogether. One of them is a Turkish game development company, wherein we put around 250K at the moment, and we are scaling that venture into other parts of the world. I can go on. For an example, we came up with a property buy and sell platform, which is again from the network with a couple of more ambassadors into World Leader Summit. We are coming up with another NFT art buy and sell platform along with arts buy and sell platform, which is again a concept from few bit of you can say ambassadors into World Leader Summit. Some of them are actually artists. That's the reason we floated a concept of council members. So within the council, we have art buyers and sellers and artists, 3 different kind of categories. And we are coming up with a couple of more exciting news. So maybe in a few bit of time, we'll share more what all we are coming up. We are coming up with a commodity market buy and sell. We are coming up with, of course, a couple of more exciting news. So that's a small background. Apart from that, personally, I'm a coder, I'm an artist, and I'm a consultant to 2 different banks. As a consultant, I do consult a couple of MNCs, mainly on finance and technology, uplifting the digital banking system. Did quite a bit number of technology and innovation in my life. That's all about it. You can say there's a crazy entrepreneur who started a couple of things together and found many crazy people in the life journey who handshaked with me, and me became a concept of we, and we are growing together.
Right. And you do all this out of Calcutta, India?
No. So I have a few bit of more pockets. Calcutta is, of course, my birthplace. We have a setup in Australia, Sydney itself. We have another existing setup in South Korea, Seoul. We have partners from Middle East. We have partners from US. So all these that you have heard of, for an example, in US, recent collaboration that happened with one of the startup company. They are into hovercraft drones, and then another alternative medicine company. So there are many things. So I'm not actually operating from only one part of the world. I'm operating from maybe various different parts. So I'm a nomad. I traveled around 40 odd different countries till date for business, and hold around 95 countries business network.
All right. Okay, Kim, tell us a little about your promotion at North Carolina State University.
Oh, Nick, I'm just humbled to be a part of the board of advisors there, this strategic advisory board. We're there to help make and mentor some positive influences in the computer science department. Of course, a lot of things have changed over the years. And so we just try to help promote good ideas of what we need to be doing as a community and working together with the academia and the universities. So I love what I do there. It doesn't ever feel like work. And we just had some great board meetings last week. but I was just promoted to the chair. I was vice chair. We do have term limits, so I believe this will probably be my last year there. But this, allows us not to just kind of grow old and stale with the same people, so that we can, bring in new people and new mentors for the university. So it's a great position. It's a great honor to be given this position. And, as you know, I'm also going to be starting a new TV show with one of the major networks. They have just brought me on board. They've already built the stage. We're going to go on tour in February. And most of it's about inspiring innovation. We want to start bringing more positive influencers into the innovation market, not just, startups, but just innovation in general. And that's one of the things I like about being on the strategic advisory board at North Carolina State University is it's all about innovation and partnerships. And, Arijit, as you know, that's two of the most important things in this economic world that we live in today, is to continue inspiring innovation, but also how we partner with everyone. And so it's great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's great to see Ben and be back on board here. I've, as you know, taken a sabbatical for a while. But it's good to come back, and I'm real excited about what 2022 is going to start bringing us. And maybe we can kind of talk a little bit about, how we're going to wrap up the year, and what 2022 is going to bring us. And Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm the most boring person in America right now, but I am the voice of reason. So let's bring in Ben Banerjee, because I did have a chance to visit him when I was over in Switzerland several months ago. And Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do. I know you've been on before many times, but we get new viewers all the time. We had 55,000 new ones yesterday, so might as well let them know. Okay.
So, hi, I'm Ben, born in India, same city as Arijit in Calcutta, but I grew up in Holland. In the last 11 years, I'm here in Switzerland. I have been I created a lot of companies and everything. I have been in board of a lot of financial institutions. But at this moment, where I'm busy with is that we are educating the SMEs all around the world on impact investment. I also run the Europe's biggest impact investment network. So I have been doing impact investment more than 25 years. So it's all sectors from renewable energy to supply management, microfinance, everything. And of course, just like all of us here, we also have our own TV show where we are increasing the awareness of impact investment all around the world. And it's, so that's basically, and I'm a member of a lot of global think tanks and teach at the university here in Zurich.
Wow. Okay. So the thing is all pretty good that's going on. Well, the topic that we were actually going to discuss today, like I said, I'm not going to talk about myself because I talk a lot, as it begins with. Deals with this very interesting concept. We did put this poll out on LinkedIn. In other words, will America be the world's largest economy in 2040? Now, the Honorable David Walker, who's the former Comptroller General of the United States, who's on our show every week, except this week because in the United States it's Thanksgiving, and he just emailed me and said, I am on a cruise to the Bahamas and St. Thomas. Okay, and I'm going like, okay, David, what am I supposed to do? You can't compete against a cruise to St. Thomas, and he's going to San Martin too. Three really great islands. All right. Wow. So, but the topic is America. Will we be the world's largest economy in 2040? And I posted the poll. I'll give you the results of that poll shortly. But Ben, since you're sitting over in Europe, we'll pick on you first because you're in the first position. Do you expect China or the United States of America to be the world's largest economy in 2040? What's your thoughts?
So, only if we speak about economy. So I think China still has a long way to go because, and as you know, with COVID at this moment, China also is suffering very badly in their real estate, in their high tech and supply management. But where I think there are a couple of variables which I'm looking at. One variable is on the part of China, that if China still overestimates itself and starts a war against Taiwan or something, that will have a devastating impact on its economy. So then, of course, US has an advantage. On the other hand, issue remains that despite of all the talks we are having and all the political statements, greed still rules the West. And if you look at the last year, the last 12 months, investments from US, despite of all the hot statements and hot topics and everything the US president and Chinese president are having, the investments from US and Europe in China has just increased. So it's constant investments are going on into Chinese market. And this is not only limited to funds, but also to technology and resources. Despite of the lockdown and despite of extreme severe restrictions for foreigners to go into China, I mean, basically now Chinese multinationals or foreign companies in China are also being run by Chinese because the foreigners are either being kicked out or they cannot come back in. But on the other side of the story is that if the Republicans again come in power and the Trumpians come to power, it will further isolate the US economy. So I think these are the two very big variables we have to pay attention to. And these two variables will determine which country goes ahead economically.
Okay, Arjit. Okay, you're in India, and the thing is, the data I read that India will be the third largest economy in the world in 2040. Now the question is this: the United States and China, is China going to be the world's largest economy in 2040? What are your thoughts?
Well, as from small understanding goes, if I compare US with China, US is in a better position rather than China in any other calculation goes. One of the finest example is the kind of ecosystem that they have and the kind of openness that they have. It's not only about money, but about the mindset and accepting new innovation and openness. And when the openness is there, I really don't want to go very deep into the kind of political part of it, but to be very honest, if we look at the economics part of it, and if we look at the innovation and then combine that with marketing strategy and combine that with the kind of investment that is happening and floating across the world, US stands better than in any way from China. It's not only about COVID, but if you look at the way they usually do the business with others, probably that's the winning strategy for them. That's my understanding.
Okay, Kim, what are your thoughts? America or China in 2040?
I think that there were some good points hit here already by our two guests. One of the things that I fall upon is the passion of the people. And I think that that is what drives America to always come in first when it comes to things like this. We have our problems here. We are divided politically. But when you look at China, they hold their innovation back so much with the political fear tactics. And I was just listening to this morning. So I truly believe that America will still always be in the top three, whether it's India, Europe. I mean, we're always going to be in that top three realm. And I think what we need to do is learn how to unite a little bit better with the rest of the world and complement our resources and stop, I don't know that we'll ever stop fighting with China. I don't know what their huckleberry is, but we just really, gotcha. We just really need to start working together. And that's one of the things I love about these conversations. I love inspiring education, teaching our youth what the future applications they need to continue to grow, but to unite us, to unite our growth. And I think that's what's going to continue growing. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's the freedom to have the passion to innovate and to grow. My only wall is myself here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
If I have something I want to promote, it's up to me to get out there and promote it. And generally, majority of the time, the government's not going to stop me. And I think that's China's biggest mistake.
Well, we also have another interesting issue when I'm checking the data, which I'm going to put Arjit on the spot again. And here's the issue. The data shows India, world's third largest economy. Will India overtake Japan and Germany and become the world's third largest economy, Arjit, by 2040? What's your thoughts?
The way India is moving and the way the entire ecosystem is evolving, whether it is The SMEs or MSMEs or probably the corporates? Probably yes. And the way policies are being updated and the way government is flexible, it's probably gonna happen very soon. Maybe we don't really need to wait for 2040. Maybe this is gonna happen faster than this. And just to give a small input, in India, it's basically, I should say, India is diversified from rest of the world. We have lot many cultures that you can think of. Each and every state have got different kind of culture and people, but unity in India is really interesting. And if you look at lands and if you look at the way these lands are being evolved into smart villages or smart cities or the latest development that's going on, and the kind of foreign investment that's happening in India is massive.
Right.
Truly, it's massive. So if I compare that with Japan, Japan is far more better on technology. There is no doubt in it. Japan is far more ahead of us in terms of innovation. But when it comes to the acceptance of new technology in the latest generation, new generation, our involvement of new generations is much more faster than probably Japan. If I compare the age group, we are in better position.
Yeah, and Japan just recently announced their GDP fell 3%, went down, which is not good for their economy, and they're going to print more money to see if they can print more money way out of their situation. So, and the data I was reading that India was prior to COVID-19 to grow 7 to 8% on their GDP, which is pretty huge. Ben, what are your thoughts since you live pretty close to Germany? So it seems like Germany's the only game in town between India and being in the third largest economy. What's your thought over there in Switzerland?
I think there are a couple of, again, there are a lot of variables here to consider. One is, of course, India will overtake if it hasn't already overtaken Germany, but that's not because India is performing so well, but it's mainly also because of the population of India is humongous. It's huge. So of course, India is a far bigger market but whether it will overtake Germany on per capita, that is a question. And that I will have a question. I'll seriously say that is not going to happen, at least in the next 50 years. That's one. Secondly, going back to the issue with China, I just wanted to add that there's one thing we forgot to add, is that China is still yet very cash positive, while America is not. So we have to keep that also in mind, that China is still economically quite in a stabler position at this moment. And thirdly, what I think a very big part of the equation we forgot to mention is the impact of the climate change. So this is going to hit India far worse than it will hit Germany. So because I was looking at the last report from WEF, we are talking about an economic shrinkage of around 4 to 8% in the northern sector, in the northern part of the world. So that means including Germany or US. But we are talking about 20+% of economic shrinkage in the southern part of the world, especially countries like India. That's going to be devastated economically. So thinking that India is going to be a big economy, I still think is a kind of, how do you call it, a pipe dream to consider that India will overtake all these countries. Even Indian, because I'm often also speaking with the Indian economy minister and all that, even they know that it's not in the chart yet, not in the way India at the present is. There's chances very low. I mean, it still can't even manage to clean up its air in Delhi. So it still has a long way to go before it can start competing with Japan or Germany. And of course, like I said in the beginning, because of the population, the size is big, but that's not the only variable here.
Yeah. Okay, Kim, what are your thoughts, being the now chair of North Carolina State University, and they have a big engineering computer science department. What are your thoughts about this issue, India becoming the world's third largest economy? You're on mute, Kim. You got to unmute yourself.
I just want to add to that, North Carolina State University is also the first access to the quantum computer at IBM. So just to give you guys a little hoorah here, you can kind of maybe come work with us a little bit and learn how to interface with quantum computing. But So I've worked with the Japanese for many years. I know their real resiliency. I know who they are here. I still have a lot of respect for them. And I think that they will always be in the forerunner because they just know how to respect, honor, that they have just really good discipline. As far as the rest of the world, I'm not familiar, like where I intimately worked with them, but I feel like anyone who wants to go to the top can. I believe that China is very much far ahead of everyone financially. I think they figured it out many years ago, but again, they're far more advanced than us because they're older than us. You know, it's kind of growing up a little bit, right? And we just need to learn from our mistakes, work together, stop dividing and work together. But I believe that we are seeing what's going to be happening, but a lot of things can happen between now and 2040. And I believe that those things are going to depend and rely on what we do. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, yes, Ben.
Can I add something? It's a very big misconception which people think that China is much older. China is not. The present Chinese regime is extremely new. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the old China or the old Chinese civilization.
You're right.
So the present Chinese government or the Chinese society or the China has absolutely nothing to do with ancient China. So they are a very, very new country. I mean, I think they're newer than most of the Asian countries. So they have not learned their lessons. Order,
absolutely. Yeah. And I believe that they figured out a lot of things financially. And I think that we just need to get our budget together like David M. Walker always preaches. I love it when he's on to influence this. And we just need to but also I think we are in a time when we can unite globally with other countries that want to start focusing on that. And who's to say why one person is going to be more advanced than the other? Why not we all just advance?
Yeah, RG.
Yeah, like I just wanted to echo Ben, and he actually spoke very wisely. See, I traveled all these countries and I mixed with many variety of people who are either on the top or a common people. So I'll give a perspective of the common man's perspective as well as probably the people who are running the show, either from the government or from probably a top-notch MNC that they're running. To be very, very honest, if we compare India with China or if we compare India with US, I'll be very honest, India is nowhere in terms of accepting new technologies or accepting new rules very faster than the other countries that we are mentioning. If we compare that with Japan, the kind of education system Japan have or the kind of education system China has is not there in India yet. I'm not comparing with US. US is far more better than any part of Indian education system. I'm so sorry about this statement, but if we look at any country to grow, the basic thing that we need is education. If your countrymen are not educated, I'm not talking about certifications, I'm talking about the basic education, okay? It's not going to happen, even though your GDP is increasing, even though you are bringing investment. Where is the people who will adopt it? Where is the people who will actually grow? Where is the people who can actually be in the innovation? We till date don't understand product. India is becoming more and more KPO rather than becoming probably a product-oriented country. We need such kind of innovation. We need such kind of product to be there out in the market. And probably we are learning from all these countries, and we need that. Compared to Japan, to be very honest, I have a very deep respect with Japanese people. They probably, at least I learned from Japanese how to become humble, how to probably be grounded, and how to accept things. And when I compare the same thing with Chinese, I learned friendship from them, how to become lifelong friend, irrespective of the fact what is your skin color or from where you're coming from. And that's the fact, if I combine both Japan and China, that happens in US as well as in Europe. people will actually accept you irrespective of your background if you have something to share, collaborate, handshake, and grow. So I'm not sure if we discuss more on who will win. Rather, I think, in my opinion, we shouldn't have any kind of borders. We are all human beings. So let's handshake with each other, grow together, and work for the planet instead of winning from one country to another country.
Okay,
That's my
you
humble
brought up the
opinion.
border issue, Anjit. So you opened up the floodgates on this one. Okay, because we speak on this on our other show earlier, which is World Edition, and it deals with border issues that exist in two countries right now, Poland and Belarus. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with that issue, and the United States and Mexico. In the United States, we have people from El Salvador, which is basically a failed state because there's all these criminal gangs coming up to the borders of the United States, and they put a big stop on it. Now, in Poland, they put a big stop on all these immigrants coming in from Kurdistan and coming in from Syria that are in failed states or in trouble. Since we just elected you, Arjit, as president of the world, okay, so you just got a new position, you've been upgraded. What would be your solution, since you're a young, bright guy, computer science degrees from India? Now you're dealing with a social issue. Unfortunately, you can't find a internet tool to solve it. What would be your solution to this the Syrian refugees and the refugees that are in Belarus going into Poland? Since you opened that issue up, what's your thoughts? I just put you on the spot.
So it's not about technology. It's nothing related to anything with AI is going to solve the world issue, to be very honest. I'll take you back probably a couple of thousand years back, where we started our culture from Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. On that time, we really never ever thought into the motherland, who is coming from where. We started accepting all those kind of culture, and that's the reason today you see India with variety of different cultures. Now, if I look at the world in such a way, they're all human beings. If somebody is looking for shelter as a human, if it is me, if it is my call, I'm going to give shelter to people who are looking and crying for help. Talking about solution, humans have an interesting tendency of accepting and adopting new things, whether it is environment, whether it is technology, whether it is a new country, it doesn't matter. From my perspective, of course, maybe from a country, the person who will usually run the country, maybe they are taking the decision because they don't want outsiders to enter into their own border for so many reasons. But if it is compared with the perspective of humanity, I would have given them a chance. Come, explore, and probably have some kind of shelter. And maybe in world history, if you look at the world history, we have seen many people growing from that refugee state to the world-class leaders. Why that happened? Because somebody gave an option to these people to grow, to have some basic food, have some basic education. So I have no other question but to have an option to open up places for people. I don't care about borders. Again, it's just a thought that we should at least become more and more human. Now, let me ask you a question. Why we need borders? Why do you need borders?
Well, the thing is, I'm just saying what Poland said. Poland is for Poles only, and then they shut their border down. It's a good question. In the United States, we at one time had, like the Statue of Liberty say, bring us your poor, bring us your starving. We don't care. Come on in. But then the United States changed. The policy isn't like that. They put a big, wait, you can't come in. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are. You're more like me. I'm more or less open borders, and they should allow people in. But that apparently is not really the thoughts of Poland or obviously the United States. Ben, what are your thoughts, since you're pretty close to Poland? And you have all these, and I look at these people. I mean, they're Syrian refugees. You know, they're in a failed state. They look like they're hard workers. They'll come to work. They'll make a contribution. The Kurds also have a tradition of doing that. Yet they're getting, you know, slapped around by Belarus and Poland. What are your thoughts, Ben? Since you're in the European,
I think in this I'll be the bad guy. So to start with, we need borders, because without borders, the Roman Empire fell, all empires fell. If you can't control your border, if you can't control migration, it will fall. And what is happening in Poland and Belarus is a political game. So this is, I blame quite a lot on Merkel, because Merkel opened this weakness of Europe, which Erdogan misused, and other political leader, and exactly now Lushenko is misusing that, saying that he knows this is the weakness of Europe. You just bring people in and Europe will do whatever you want it to do. So it is a pure, simple case of blackmail. The only way the migration of when Merkel, it was not stopped because of Merkel, it was stopped because at that time Hungary, Austria, Romania, they all closed the borders. That's how they could control. And today, most of the, or nearly all of the terrorist attacks and other kind of attacks Europe has faced has happened from the people who came in that time when Merkel opened a free border to everybody. So Merkel has a lot of responsibility on this matter, and which completely disrupted Europe. I mean, socially, economically, Europe, from one European Union, it fell into every country stands up for itself. And we even got borders between countries. Before that, there was no border between European countries. And because of that, suddenly Austria closed its border, Hungary, Netherlands, Germany, everybody started closing their borders. This was all created by Merkel for her own political gain. But now, because people like Erdogan and people who are kind of in the region, how do you call it, the neighboring countries of Europe, they know this is the weakness of Europe and they will misuse it. And since we now have an issue with Belarus because of the way they handled their protests and the way they hijacked one of the planes, the Ryanair plane, which was forced. So Belarus got a lot of sanctions. So now Belarus, they're doing it very smart. They're just saying to everybody around the world, you don't need a visa, you can come to Belarus, and they're bringing them to the border and then trying to push them to Poland. I think what Poland is doing, it is because what we spoke about is the UN, the Refugee Convention, the Convention of Refugees, to which most or nearly all European countries are a signatory to. But this is not that case, because that also happened during the Merkel's case, when we had opened the border from the 1.2 million people who came in officially. The unofficial figure must have been bigger. Less than 20% were really refugees. The others were just pure economic migration from North Africa and Asia and Middle East. So this is also what Belarus is playing on this game. And since Europe is now going to put further sanctions because of other factors which are playing game there, so this is an absolute pure political game, and Poland has no option, despite of being a signatory to the UN refugee. It has to close its border. Otherwise, again, we have the same mess in Europe that we had 5 years ago. So yeah, maybe I'm the bad guy here.
But. Well, I mean, it's a political game, but you have people's lives that are pawns in this political game. I mean, there are people that are sitting there going like, now what? I can't get into Poland. I can't go back. I'm stuck here. It looks like it's a big problem. So Kim, since you're with North Carolina State, you don't speak for North Carolina State, but maybe you're a smart girl. What do we do? What's the solution here?
Well, create some superheroes in the economic forum. And, come on, Arijit, help me out here, right? We're engineers. But yeah, I think we need to start establishing our own superheroes and start working together and uniting and making things happen. I think economics, the global economics, I think we've gone beyond just being one country. I think we need to start working together, not trying to be the first or the top three, but being the top one together. But I think we're going to need a superhero team that we all kind of unite together. And why not? Why not create a game or something that innovates us to do this? Right. I mean, and inspire the youth. But I think we're going to have to inspire the youth to do
Yeah,
this.
somebody on one of our panels said temporary immigration status may be a solution. In other words, let them go into Poland or the European Union, and same with the United States, granting temporary immigration status because, so like I said, you have some really good people that are in a bad situation, and we treat them like trash. We do the same thing in the United States. People coming from El Salvador trying to escape really a bad situation, and temporary immigration status could be granted, but countries don't seem to do that. So what are your thoughts, Arjit, about temporary immigration status? I don't think India, you need any more people. You got plenty of that. But here's a different story. What are your thoughts on that as a solution?
Probably I'll not give you this direct answer. Rather, I'll be giving you a situation. Let's assume that I actually missed when Ben was sharing about why we need borders. But if we look at world history, to be very honest, we started evolving and we said that let's create technology, let's create situations that one country will win from another. And we innovated many different kind of science project, which includes nuke as well. And we started digging our seas, we started killing our forests, we started increasing the temperature of our planet. And now we are saying, let's stop all these things. Let's make our planet more healthy and let's create agendas after agenda so that people shouldn't make our planet much more worse for our future generation. Let's talk to our future generation and ask them that whether they need war, whether they need refugees, or they need peace, they need world economy to be stable. The answer is they need the second option. They don't need war. They don't need some country to win. We had enough war. We have seen First World War. We have seen Second World War. Before that, if we look at USA, the entire Red Indians has been removed, wiped out. If we look at Indian history, India is a given name, to be very honest. Ben can probably echo me. It used to be Bharatvarsh. If we look at the entire structure and culture, it has been adopted many different cultures that one can think of. Our entire history has been wiped off. We created demigods and we started giving them probably much more respect. But during COVID, we understood these are all temples, these are all rocks. It doesn't work. The only thing that works is humanity. The only thing that works is your heart. The only thing that works is probably handshaking. I have got many friends from various different parts of the world. I don't care whether they are Pakistanis, right? Even though India and Pakistan have many different kind of situations. I would rather talk about forget all these kind of issues and become warmonger. Otherwise, we will be just discussing this. We cannot solve this. And if you look at the entire climate change that's happening, we will again talk that whether we should have refugees. Why do you need refugees? What's the reason? Why do you have to actually kill our planet? And say that, okay, let's fund a company to go to Mars, again create another colony over there and kill Mars, right? So are we killers of planets? So maybe we can create a game out of it, like Killers of Planets.
Thank you.
We're working on it, but the thing is, when Ben brings up a very serious issue, which is my problem of traveling to India because I'm asthmatic, and I look at New Delhi, and New Delhi, all I see is this big cloud of methane gas all over the place, which isn't really good for somebody who has respiratory issues.
It's in Calcutta as well, Nick. Yes, it's in Calcutta as well, Nick. Yes.
Well, the thing is, okay, so my question to you is this, okay, where can I go in India? Where the air is clean? Talk to me.
Northern part of India, you can hop into probably in the Himalayas. There, you will have less pollution. You will actually feel good. You can breathe properly. When you go to those areas, you can breathe properly. I really hate when I see that my countrymen is actually killing our metro cities. Mm-hmm. Not good. Right. It's not good. Well, nobody can help us.
How could it be good for tourism? In other words, tourists in America love to go to places and see things. But then when I look at India, I go, wait a minute, I need to breathe too. Okay. And I'm going, well, maybe I'll go to Nepal, okay, as opposed to India, because at least the air is clean, and is anything in the calculus of, well, we need to have clean air for something simple, like we're never going to attract visitors and tourists without clean air? Are they looking at that at all, RG? Is that part of the calculus?
To be very honest, yes. So if you look at nowadays, we are actually into the concept of being within the nature. So there are startups, there are companies who are into travel and tourism, who are offering offbeat tourism places for foreigners. So if you are here, maybe you will be landing in Delhi, unfortunately or fortunately, or maybe in Mumbai, if you are coming from Middle East, that's the fastest route, or maybe in Bangalore. People less travel towards eastern part of India, but to be very honest, if you need clean air, maybe the hills, maybe the seasides are the best place to be there, be in the nature. And if you really want to talk to the monks, you will find them. And they don't need money, and they don't ask you for any kind of money. You can be with them, you can be in the nature, you can enjoy.
Yeah. Another issue that we need to address on Economics Monday is this one. Oh, wait, that's World War III, supersonic weapons developed by China. All right, this has just hit the hit the radar screen of media, and then they
Nick,
quickly
it's not
push it off.
supersonic, it's hypersonic.
Oh, it's hypersonic. I'm so sorry. I'll hide that. Okay, hypersonic weapons. Delivery systems. I just did some little research on it. It looks like China has developed like 900 of them. The United States has developed 9. If we lose our superpower status relating to the military, wouldn't China just go say, Taiwan is ours now, and US, you can't do anything about it. Neither can India, neither can the whole world, because we have our hypersonic weapons. So I'll start with Ben, since you have to deal with the whole world. What are your thoughts about these hypersonic weapons? And just like, remember, the Taliban took Afghanistan. Oh, we have 400,000 soldiers, and the 400,000 says, so it's fine, we're not going to do anything. Okay, what happens if China says, hey, look, we're going to take Taiwan. We have hypersonic weapons. You don't. Game over. What are your thoughts, Ben? Game over.
No, hypersonic is a game changer. That's true. And China has been working at it since a long time. And US made the miscalculation. They were ahead, but they made the miscalculation of not investing into it, I think, around 30 years back. And now China and Russia are ahead of it. But it's just one delivery system. So hypersonic does make it has a very fast missiles which can evade the radar or can evade the US anti-missile system. But it's still just one system. So it is not game changer in the sense that it makes China more powerful, that it can cause a lot of damage. So the strength of US, if you look at only the military convention, the naval force, so China can damage a lot of US naval force. But since one where I'm very much counting on, which has now created the AUKUS, that is the US, Australia, and United Kingdom, these 3 navies, even if just UK and US comes together, UK is also a blue navy, US is a blue navy. China has the biggest navy, but it's not a blue navy. So China does not stand a chance. And in case of invasion of Taiwan, I sincerely hope America will honor its agreement. And if it does, no, then China cannot. Its hypersonic weapons is just one delivery system. It's not enough to defeat US. And this is something I want to add. The strength of US military has been its alliance. It's not US alone, but it has a very, very powerful alliance system. And as long as US itself does not shoot at its own feet and destroy its own alliances, the earlier president did by attacking his own allies, I think US will be very strong. So.
Okay. All right, Kim, what are your thoughts about these hypersonic weapons? I mean, I looked at it and I'm going, technology wins wars. I don't know, you like to help humans, but the thing is, at the same time, technology becomes a form of weaponry. And even Leonardo da Vinci, the reason why he was chosen to go to all these places and paid was not because he was an artist, but actually he was able to develop all these high-tech weapons. Okay, catapults, believe it or not. That was his big selling point. So now when you look at it, Kim, okay, and I know you guys like to develop all these computer things that help people, cool tools, but let's talk about hypersonic weapons for a minute, because this seems to me to be really important. If somebody has an edge in technology like Germany did in World War II, they tend to use it. In other words, we've got an edge, let's tend to use it. Is the United States and the world vulnerable to China muscle, not just because of becoming the world's largest economy, but also the world's largest and strongest military? What are your thoughts, Kim?
Well, Nick, first off, what we develop in our engineering world is we try to develop and use artificial intelligence to improve the quality of life. But unfortunately, war is a fact of life, or the defense of it. Yeah, these weapons, they're pretty scary. All I can say is let's engineer some more hackers and, stop them, build some defenses. But we've proven in history that the Americans are not afraid to utilize the latest and most dangerous, venomous war tactics and weapons. I mean, we've done the most horrific thing in the world when we set off the atom bomb. I mean, when you take a look at this, but I don't think you're going to stop people from instigating war. You're just not. There's too many egos out there, and eventually it builds up to this war. I'm hoping that the talks will intervene, but all I can say, and I don't mean to make light of this matter, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, right? I think they got the coolest photon pack weapon in the world. Great movie if you want to lighten your heart a little bit. This is not an ad, but I'm just saying sometimes we have to take a look at, some of the things we invented in science fiction came true. I mean, this is a speech I gave years ago. Some of the things, almost everything we invented in science fiction came true, or we're going to Mars. And I agree with Arajit that sometimes we're putting too much money into going into space. Are we the element that's destroying all these planets? I hope not. I hope we're not the ones that are saying, okay, we destroyed this one, so we're going to move to this one. I really would like to think that we become strategically smart, unite, fix the climate. I do want to add something about the climate change. The reason why we have such a problem is our coral reefs are dying at a faster rate than what we can heal them. And we've got some really good innovators who are developing coral reefs that can grow a little bit faster than, but we're going to have to work together. But that's our oxygen. And if you want to kill us, kill the coral reefs. But I think that all of these weapons, it's just men who just want to show off their muscle. And I think we just need to calm them down a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
give them a little bit of Diet Coke and talk to them a little bit.
Well, the thing is, for a long time, Xi Jinping was basically belittling the United States, saying, well, we're building infrastructure while you're building bombs. And now all of a sudden he quietly, we're building hypersonic missiles. Shh, don't tell anybody about it. Arjit, while you are building all your computer systems and educating the people in India, the Chinese, which are your next door neighbors, by the way, decide they want to build hypersonic weapons. Isn't that a concern of India? I mean, come on. I mean, hypersonic weapons, pretty cool.
Yeah, of course, it's a concern for
computer forums. This is economics Monday. It's
well, probably I haven't shared a lot of things either in social media or by myself. I understand that this is an economic forum. What I'm going to share probably look like a science fiction story to all of you, but maybe people can relate to it. It's a kind of childhood wild thoughts, which I till date evolving. When you look at God, allow me a couple of minutes. Maybe you can have a complete different kind of opinion, what you are thinking. When you look at God or goddess, look at any culture, we had multiple stories that some demigod or some god came from top, give us technology, sometimes you will hear stories that some person from Earth, they went towards Adobe, fight alongside with the gods and demigods so that they can kill all those demons. All these stories, if you look at, it makes a very simple analogy and statement. Humankind very soon will create colony in space. When you are space, your timeline works differently. Your body works differently. Your size will be increased. Your strengths are different. You're technologically evolved, but you need machines to move yourself when you're coming back to Earth in a light speed. And when you're coming back, on that time, the culture is not that evolved. But you, as a person, has been evolved much more faster than the Earth beings. You have been treated as a next god or demigod. Your size is completely like humongous, like a giant, because you have been staying probably hundreds of years in space. And out of love and curiousness, you came back on Earth, mingled with Earthlings, and try to create your replica over here, and the story starts. If you look at all these historical data, it gives such kind of proof that in some point of time, humankind will move towards space, create colony, maybe a different planet. I'm not talking about the same. Maybe in different dimension. There's a space-time dimension concept in science, which I can share. But 25 years back, when I was sharing this, I have been treated as a crazy, mad kid who is talking shit. But now, if I talk about nanotechnology, people can say, yeah, this is happening because nanotechnology is there. But nanotechnology was there earlier, which we probably didn't study well. It used to be, there used to be a weapon which never ever shoot during Mahabharata time. It's called Brahmastra. And if you look at the entire description of that weapon, it will actually give you resemblance of atom bomb. So if you look at the timeline, it's just like a circle. The reason I'm sharing you all this is a timeline, this is a circle which we are going through. It's a never-ending process of a cycle of lifetime and timeline. And when we are talking about such kind of weapons being developed, it is going through that kind of timeline. Coming back to the jokes, probably we need a superhero, a group of superheroes, just making a joke. But to be very honest, if you look at the way we create games, I'll humbly request all of you guys to cross-check the weapons that we have created with all those kind of scientific improvements. You will see why and how we took all these epical stories, took the science out of it, and then created all such kind of superheroes, characters, weapons. And to be very honest, that's happening. It's happening now. And whatever we know, it evolved much more faster than this. Teleportation nowadays is a happening thing. It's not a myth anymore. In laboratories, teleportation happened. And if we look at such kind of timelines, time gaps, space-time complexity, all these such kind of things are there. Maybe we are missing it. Maybe human eyes, which we call as third eye, can actually relate to it. And all these things, give me a second, all these things are actually making one statement. The reason monks said, let's resemble with nature, be humble, and let's not try to become winners and win the world. And that's the reason we actually move towards such kind of age.
Yes, and we're at the hour, so we do want to thank our international audience for watching Economics Monday. Good show, and we'll see you all next week. Economics Monday on the IBM TV network. Check.